question, what are the biggest mistakes you've seen people make? And as you can imagine, the mistakes are they mirror the challenges. You know, we do too much prescribing without enough diagnosis. And in medicine, that's called malpractice, right? That's, yeah, hop up on the table and I'll do your surgery without looking at anything, right? We don't appoint a chief value officer or a value counsel in our firm. And what I mean by this is, I think every firm needs to have a person or maybe a team of people drive this change through, really be committed to it, really make sure that we're doing one customer at a time. We're putting all new customers on this. We're converting our existing hourly billing customers over to this. They have timelines and objectives for that and all of that. And if you're a solo, get your spouse to do it. Get a business mentor to do it. Get a business coach to help you. But if you don't do that, it's probably not going to happen. Another big mistake that we see is not offering 3 options. It's really a mistake not to offer your customer options for everything that you possibly could do for them. And it's always, you can always create 3 options out of anything. We don't do enough.
Why is that a mistake, Ron? Why do you say offer 3 options instead of just 1?
Because if you give a customer 1 option with a price, you're asking them basically to take it or leave it. And when you give a customer 1 option, there's no context to compare it to. When you give them 3 options, the questions in their mind change. It's no longer, should I work with pure bookkeeping? The question becomes, how do I work with pure bookkeeping? Which option do I select? That's why, have you ever noticed every business offers us options? Small, medium, large, first class, business class, coach. I know you guys hate Starbucks in Australia, rightfully so. It's a milk distributor, not a coffee shop, but Starbucks, tall, grande, venti, right? Why do they offer us options? Because it gives our pricing context. It lets us compare. It lets the client compare us to us rather than comparing our 1 price with 5 other firms' prices. Now we've got 3 prices in there. We have a higher probability of securing the work and creating more value for the customer. So offering options is a huge part of this process.
Yes, we've got a question from Melinda. With the 3 options, do you offer that to existing clients?
Yes. Yep. And again, that takes a little bit more finesse, a little bit more time to explain. Why are we doing this? Why are we making this change? But it's essential. And by the way, the customers love this. When we go to buy something as a consumer, don't you like choice?
Yeah. Or
would you rather just have 1 thing, take it or leave it? Like the old Soviet Union. No, we like choices. And we have a range of choices for everything we buy. And there's a reason for that.
And well, I like the point that you made in the book around that. This is the psychology around the value pricing, is because then the client will choose the option that they value the most.
Right.
And they will then pay you what that value brings to them. So an example of that in my own life, and we've all done this, buying something that has the bronze, silver or gold, or like we got a car a year or so ago, and there's the different models of the cars, and we could have got the top one and that had the sunroof and the Bose surround and things like that, but for the extra money we didn't particularly want a sunroof or valued I don't sit in my car to listen to music, so we got the middle of the range, but I was prepared then to pay. That was what I valued, so I paid that. If I really valued Bose surround sound and drove around in the car and did all that, then I'd be going for the top model, but I chose the one that I valued and I was happy with that purchase. I think that's the key with that. Would you agree, Ron?
Yeah, because you made the decision.
Yeah.
You feel good. And most people do pick the middle option because we've got this, we tend to think it's the safest option. Well, the cheap one might not be that great, the quality, and the top one probably has too many bells and whistles I'll never use. So I'll just be safe and go with the middle. But the thing that really makes offering choices so powerful is, especially 3, is the customer is no longer making a pricing decision. They're making a value decision. They're comparing price to value, which is what you want them to do. You just don't want them to look at price, because if they're looking at price, what do all customers want to do with price?
Reduce it.
Lower it. But when you make them think about value, what do all customers want to do with value? And by the way, what do all firms want to do with value? We want to create more of it.
Increase it.
So I rather focus on something that we're both trying to maximize rather than what we're trying to minimize for the customer. Let's focus on value. We still measure the wrong things. This is a huge problem. This is why I loathe timesheets, because they take a lot of time. There are a lot of bureaucracy, and you don't get good information out of it. It's a completely useless data point. There are better systems and processes we could put in place, like project management, and you're going to see in the book after action reviews. I think after action reviews are one of the most revolutionary ideas in the last 60 years. They came out of the military. Your military uses them. The Canadian military uses them. Militaries around the world have embedded after action reviews into their cultures. And it is the best single learning tool. After action reviews actually help teams do better in the future, improve future performance. Timesheets do not. So we need to get over our legacy systems of measuring and looking at the wrong things. Here's a big one. We underprice. My guess is this question about they underpriced the FPA. They underpriced it. And underpricing is 95% of the pricing mistakes you will make. You underpriced it. You wimped out. You wanted the client so bad. You thought, oh, they'll never pay that. I better cut that in half or whatever. And we just underprice. Well, this is why I say everybody needs an agent. You know, authors and actors, they all have agents. Not because these people, they like to pay these people 15% of what they make. It's because these agents can get them a better price than they can get themselves. We're all terrible at selling ourselves, every one of us, including me. But when I have an agent, they're brave as a lion selling me and my value. That's why when I go down to Australia to do work, my buddy down there, he's my agent. He does all my deals, and he gets me prices that I would have never imagined I could get. Because it's much easier for him to brag about me than it is for me to brag about me. I don't want to sound braggadocious. And we all need agents. Your pricing group in your firm are your agents. They make sure that you don't give stuff away. They rather walk away from bad work or bad clients than take them at a price that's too low. So underpricing is a huge problem. Again, scope creep. We don't use change orders, change requests very well. Scope seep again, that same thing. Lousy project management, same thing. And we just tend to revert to hourly billing when we make a mistake with VP. You know, we throw our clubs down and say, this game's hard. Well, yeah, so is becoming a bookkeeper, so is becoming a CPA, so is passing the bar exam. But anything worth having is going to be a struggle. It's going to be hard. And so you got to live through those mistakes and learn from them and get better, because you will get better.
And it's not being afraid to start.
Yeah, because it's just one customer at a time. You don't have to cannonball into the swimming pool and do everything at once. I just want you to stick your little toe in the water. In fact, in the book, there is Amar, I think you pointed out that, bookkeepers, accountants especially, they want a formula. They think there's a formula for value pricing. I'm here to tell you there is no formula, because value is not a number. Value is a feeling. Now, I'm going to expand on that, because I know that's a really counterintuitive thing to say to a group of accountants who think in numbers. But I do have a cheating formula in the book on page 275. It's called dipping your toe in the water. And it was an exercise I contrived to help people kind of do their first couple of these. once you get really good at it, you won't need this formula anymore because it will just be automatic. You'll think of these things and a whole lot of other things as well when you think about value.